I just got through watching Parasite. Long time coming. The movie came out last October. Won numerous awards, including the Oscar for Best Picture. The movie was truly amazing and really presented an old idea, but did it in a new kind of way. And, talking about the upper class versus the lower class, the rich versus the poor. And shows how a family that was on the poor side sneak and connive and scheme their way into securing jobs from the affluent family known as the Parks. And the Kims are the family from the poor side of the city, if you will, from the slums. It just goes to show that when you do what they did, coming up with ways to get rid of their competition, those who are in the jobs that they want. And you see what happens when they start making money and they start getting a little bit better, a little bit more, affluent themselves. But then everything starts coming down, starts crashing down in front of them. And they find themselves trying to not be found out by the Parks. The Parks don't know that they're family. They don't know that they're related. Came up with ways to say that they came from this agency and they're a cousin of a friend and all that stuff. And they're trying to hide that. They're trying to keep that secret. But, you do something like that and it eventually comes to bite you in the ass. And it did, in more ways than one and in tragic ways. This ends up that, unfortunately, people get killed. People have to go in hiding. And according to the father, the main character known as Kevin, his father, they're the Kims, says that when you make a plan, what is the one plan that fails is no plan. And it just goes to show that it's not all it's cracked up to be. When you want what's better for your family, but you do it in the way that the Kims did. And it ends up that, the Parks, the Mr. Park gets killed by, Kevin's father. Kevin's father ends up on the run. And Kevin ends up pretty much with a plan at the end, saying that he's going to get rich and he's going to buy the house that formerly belonged to the Parks after they moved out. The father ends up in hiding, but he ends up hiding in a cellar that the Parks didn't know about. And it's just one of those things where the film just really took you in different directions, and it lets you look into desperation, what people do when they're desperate to make their lives better. Like I said, people died in here, people were killed, people lost their lives, all in the pursuit of the Kims wanting to better their life. And they did it in ways that was very unsavory. You talk about karma biting you in the ass, and that's what happened to them. They thought that they were living the high life. They thought that while the Parks were away on a camping trip, they could chill out in their house and drink all the liquor and eat all the food, and it ends up something comes to bite them in the ass later on in the form of the former housekeeper that they pushed out. And then you see her husband end up killing Jessica, the sister of Kevin, and other people. He gets killed by Kevin's mom, and then the father, Kim, Mr. Kim, ends up killing Mr. Park, all because of what Mr. Park did, talking about the odor that the Kim father gave off, and it's because they live in the slums, and there's an odor that comes out from something that Kevin was talking about. And then it kind of came back to him after he saw, Mr. Park, keys, that he wanted the keys because you know, they were going to get these people to the hospital. And then when he threw it, when Mr. Kim threw it, it went underneath the father, I mean the husband of the former housekeeper. When he picks it up to get the keys, he goes like this, because it smelled, and then it triggered him. And then he just comes forward, the Kim father, and he ends up, Mr. Kim, and he ends up stabbing Mr. Park. His wife faints. Then he goes on land. Mr. Kim does. He ends up boarding himself down in the cellar. Another family, a German family, moves in. And Kevin knows and realizes his father because the Morse code. Kevin used to be a Cub Scout. And so his father was Morse coding him. And then, in the end, he ends up writing a letter back to his dad saying that when he gets rich, he's going to buy the house back. And that way his father can just walk up the steps and live happily ever after. You see that scenario, and I'm thinking, oh, this happened, but it was something that he said, something that he wrote. Kevin himself I thought he died in this thing because he had this rock formation, this rock thing that was brought to him by his friend. He's going to bring it down there when the former housekeeper and her husband were down there. I don't know if he was going to smash him in the head, but he ends up getting smashed in the head. A lot of blood coming out of him, and I'm thinking he's dead. But then he ends up having brain surgery, and he ends up going through, standing trial. He only gets probation because of forgery and all kinds of other charges. And he was just given probation. And this movie really was such a character study. You see all these different people in this film, and how each and every one of them were trying to get one over, if you will, trying to get ahead in their own kind of way, especially the character of the Kim family. The Parks were already there. They didn't need to do anything to get to where they were better. They were already good enough, But I really enjoyed this film. It's one of the films that it's a time-honored thing. You see this in movies all the time, the type of storyline, but it was done really well in this film, and it felt and it looked original. And the South Koreans really are good at making these type of films, namely also horror. I thought Parasite, was a horror movie. I don't know, people can probably look at this movie as a horror movie. So a family that comes into your family, and they're manipulating everything, trying to get into your family, infiltrate your family, your home through all kinds of schemes. And that's pretty horrific, But this film really was a great psychological thriller, a real great drama. And to me, I think some of these actors could have gotten nominated too for Oscars. A lot of them gave great performances. I think the one that gave the best performance was the Kim father. He was good. The type of nuances and the type of facial expressions and the way he, did his role was really great. But that's my thoughts on the movie Parasite. Long time coming for me. I didn't watch it when it first came out, so I just watched it now, and I'm glad I did. It's really a great movie and very amazing. Well acted, well directed. I like the feel and the atmosphere of the movie, and it really, really did hook me and kept me watching the movie. And that's a good thing to do. A hard thing to do at times, because sometimes, a movie will lose you. You start wandering off, you start looking at your phone, you start, doing some other things, maybe getting up, not even bothering to pause it, if you're watching at home, And I didn't find myself doing that. So I'm glad that happened, because I was wondering about the movie, how good it was, And I'm not surprised that it was, and I'm glad I watched it. But anyway, those are my thoughts on the film Parasite. I enjoyed it, like I said, amazing film, well done. So for those of you who stopped by and checked out my video, I appreciate it. And in closing, as always, take care. Please remember to subscribe, click like, and click the bell icon for all notifications on this channel.